Hello, hello, hello to all the wonderful mamas out there. This presentation and this video is specifically for the mamas. This goes out to all my baby mamas. It's like, I'm just kidding. This presentation is titled Mama's Moolah, and it is a financial literacy workshop for mothers hosted by me, Jasmine Drummond, the money coach. I am very excited to be hosting this financial literacy workshop because it is important to talk to mothers about financial literacy and financial management. Because let's be honest, we're the ones who run the household, right? We're the ones who raise the kids, right? We the ones who brought the kids into the world. Not me. I don't got no kids yet, but you guys. So it's important that you understand how money works for yourself, for your children. That's what this whole presentation is about. This presentation was originally done in 2023, and now I'm recording it for your viewing pleasure. So please enjoy. So, before we get started, I want you to visualize something for me. I want you to maybe close your eyes for a second or just listen. I want you to envision grandma's house or maybe whatever maternal house that you used to go to when you were a young kid. And that house was like wherever you used to do holidays or family reunions, or maybe just the big Sunday dinner where everybody is gathered around the table. And maybe it's something you don't do that much anymore, but it has that nostalgic feel, right? You have that memory locked in there. It's a core memory, and you remember how it felt being surrounded by so much love, so much security, and just the feelings of being at Big Mama's house, right? So that's what we're going to talk about today. We're going to talk about building your financial house just to be as strong, as loving, and deliver on all the things that Big Mama's house gave to you when you were young, right? So here's just a little view of the types of things we're going to talk about today. We're going to talk about life insurance, emergency savings, budgeting and money conversations, retirement, and goals and dreams. Then I'm going to let you know how you can set up a free consultation with me, the money coach. So please stick on to the end. So, just like if you were building any house, you need to have a strong foundation. It doesn't make sense to build a whole bunch of really nice stuff or go out and buy a flat screen TV and beautiful paintings to put on the wall if you haven't even built the foundation for the house yet, right? So the foundation of your financial house, of Big Mama's financial house, is life insurance. Let's talk about it. These are some statistics as far as life insurance goes. Now, these statistics might be a little bit different now because we're in 2025 when we're watching this, and these numbers are from 2023. But by the numbers, 44% of women have no life insurance at all. The average woman has 160,000 in individual life insurance, while men often have double that. How crazy is that? Also, nearly 4 out of 10 mothers say that they're the primary breadwinner for their family. So, how is it that women are the primary breadwinners, but they don't have coverage for, God forbid, if they don't come home one night, their family is going to be without bread? Their family is going to be in a very difficult situation, right? So it's very important that mothers have life insurance. Women make up 47% of the labor force, and 5.2 million percent of women, or 5.2 million women, are stay-at-home mothers. So if you're a stay-at-home mom, it's less likely that you're covered by an employer-sponsored plan. Even if you are covered by an employer-sponsored plan, let's say through your spouse, it's likely that the coverage amount is very low. So if God forbid something happens to the mother, the woman in your life, what is the reality you're facing? Probably a really ugly one. So it's very important that women have life insurance. Women pay 15% less for the same amount of life insurance than men because men have a shorter life expectancy than women. So women outlive men for about 5 years. Okay, period. You're going to live for a long time. So it's important that we have the right amount of coverage for the right period of time, and make sure that you are properly protected. Also, 44% of American households would encounter a significant financial difficulties within half a year if they lost the primary wage owner in a family. And 28% would reach this point in only a month. Is that your family? Am I talking about you right now? If so, you need to make sure that you have the right life insurance. Also, about 4 in 10 men describes themselves as being very knowledgeable about life insurance, but for women, this figure is about 2 in 10. Listen, women, we got to change that. It's no longer, oh, that's just for the men, or I don't understand money, so I just don't look at it. No, time out for that. You are a woman, you are a mother. It is important for you to understand how these things work. There's a lot to understand out there about life insurance. The thing that I want you to take away from this is that I need to have the right amount of coverage for the right period of time. And that typically is one specific type of life insurance. If you stick on to the end and hear me talk about the consultation or set up a meeting with me, we can definitely talk more about that. So, understanding mom's need for coverage, we need to make sure that we have enough to replace the income. Like we said earlier, most women right now are the breadwinners. So, how much money is she bringing into the household every month that, if God forbid, she didn't come home? We need to replace that dollar amount. Maintaining the children's standard of living. Listen, we know kids are expensive these days, right? They want the newest everything. They need new clothes all the time. They need new phones. They need technology, right? So there's a certain amount every month that is required just for your child to have a standard of living. What is that amount? Let's make sure that if we need to replace that amount, we know dollars and cents how much that is. Also, what can you pay off or fund for your children? A lot of time people think of life insurance as just the cost for the funeral. No, life insurance can be a very powerful tool if you understand how to utilize it properly, right? So maybe you can fund your children's education. Maybe you can fund helping them to start a business. Maybe you can pay off a property for wherever these children will be living. You know, a lot of people will say, well, if something happens to me, I know my sister will take care of my kids. Okay, sure. But now your sister is taking in more children into the household, so that's cost more. What if you could take a bill off of the plate for her? What if you could pay off her mortgage? What if you could pay off 6 months, a year worth of bills for her, her rent, her the food for the kids, right? We know that it costs money to raise children, so how dare you leave behind the children without a check? You're setting them up for failure, and you're setting up whoever you're leaving the children to take care of, whoever is left to take care of the children, you're also leaving them or setting them up for not having success. So these are the things you need to make sure you consider when we talk about life insurance. And again, please stick on to the end because I'm going to talk about how you can set up a consultation with me to make sure that you have the right life insurance and you have the right kind of life insurance, because that matters. So now we're on to the next level of Big Mama's house, and we need to talk about emergency savings, because raise your hand if you know that children and just life sometimes incites an emergency, right? Okay, I can raise my hand. I don't even got kids, and I can raise my hand on that one. We know that emergencies are going to come up. So, as a woman, as a mother, it is very important that you have money set aside and preparing for the unexpected. When we look at the statistics, 4 out of 10 people have less emergency savings than they had a year ago. This was 2022 numbers. We know now in 2025 that cost of living is only increasing and at a very rapid rate, right? So if you had less emergency savings a year ago, or if you have less emergency savings today than you had a year ago, something's not working, right? And we need to talk about how we can make that better for you. 25% of people would accrue credit card debt to pay for $1,000 emergency expense. The average person does not have $1,000 in savings. If that is your situation, first of all, this is not a space of judgment. This is not a space for me to be hard on you. Life is hard, right? We know bills come up. We know things come up. We know emergencies come up. It is hard to save money. But the alternative is you consistently having to borrow as far as credit, borrow from other people that you know, or just stay on that hamster wheel of always juggling bills versus us get together, put together a strategy so that you can genuinely and realistically build emergency savings. Because if nothing changes, nothing changes, right? Here's another one. 68% of people are worried that they won't be able to cover their living expenses for just 1 month if they lost their primary source of income. That's a very real situation that we're in, right? I'm not going to get political, but we know what's going on with this administration. A lot of people's jobs are at risk that maybe even a couple years ago, they thought they had great job security, right? So it is essential as a woman, as a mother, that you not only have emergency savings, but you have another stream of income. We can't just depend on one stream of income anymore, right? 16%, only 16% of Americans said that they were very comfortable with their emergency funds. Are you in the 16% or are you on the other half of the statistic? Because I want to get you to where you're feeling very comfortable, right? 51% of Americans have less than 3 months of expenses covered in their emergency fund, including 25% who don't have a fund. And then, last but not least, 4 out of 10, the pandemic triggered nearly 40% of people who had emergency funds to access them, with 73% using up half or more of the fund and 29% using all of it. We know that the pandemic was an emergency. What's the next one that's going to come? A lot of people were not prepared for the pandemic, right? No, most people, nearly nobody, saw that coming. But now that we have experienced it, are we going to learn and grow from it? Or are we just going to wait for the next pandemic, the next emergency, the next national security thing to pop off and then we're scrambling, right? So, this is the difference between just hoping things will work out and knowing things will work out by actually having a plan, setting an auto draft to go into your emergency savings every month, every time that you get paid. And this is something that I can help work with you to accomplish. Next, we're going to talk a little bit about budgeting and spending habits because that's a big one, right? So, let's talk about family money conversations and why they matter. These statistics here are looking at the importance of financial conversations and some data that was taken from a study that was done. Basically, what they're trying to find is how important is it to the people who they surveyed for them to be having money conversations with their children, right? Most people found that they do find it important, especially year after year. We find that the numbers are growing. More people find it important, but are they actually having the conversation? No. People care about managing their own money, but are they actually talking about it? No. Right? It's growing a little bit year over year. And I'm sure if we had the data from 2025 and the other years that are missing here, we could see maybe growth over time as far as the importance of the financial conversation. But are we actually seeing it turn around and people having conversations with their family, with their children to say either, let me help you on the path to make sure you don't make mistakes, or here, let me share what I have learned from my mistake, my lesson, so that you don't have to go down the path that I went down. A lot of time people still are caught in the trap of feeling like money is a taboo conversation. The truth of the matter in that is if you don't have the conversation with your children, they're going to repeat your same mistakes because our money habits and our understanding and belief about money is formulated by our environment. That starts early. If you are consistently stressed about money and paying bills late, that is the only understanding about money your child will have, right? So it's just so important to have these conversations. This study goes on a little bit more, and we see that parents have reluctance in discussing finances with their children, right? Why? What do we feel like are the barriers? Some feel like they're too young to understand. Some think that they don't know much about it, right? Embarrassment about their finances, saying that they're too stressed, saying that they don't know how to teach them. All of this is very real. I'm not going to downplay and say, oh, well, get over it. These are very real life situations. But again, the alternative is watching your child make the same financial mistakes in their young adulthood unless you are the change maker in your family, right? You have to be the one to be willing to say, you know what, it's going to stop with me. I'm going to learn this finance stuff so that I can be better for myself and be better for my kids, right? And that's the type of stuff that I love helping families do. How to break through these barriers, how to not be embarrassed about the state of your finances or past mistakes that you have made, how to, you know, find time to have the conversation, what to say, all of those, right? How do we start that? So those are things that I definitely can help you with. And then here's the real truth, guys. And this might scare you a little bit as mothers, but I'm not scaring you to be mean. I'm scaring you to shake you and wake you up, right? So the truth of the matter is, if children, where do children get advice about money? If not from their parents, if not from their family members, where do they go? Some go to friends, some goes to teachers. But look at some of these below. And I'm sure this data, is from a few years ago. So I'm sure if we looked at the data today, these numbers would be up. The question is, do you want to teach your child about money, or do you want social media teaching your child about money, or their friends teaching them about money, or a celebrity on TikTok teaching them about money? Probably much better coming from you, right? So here's a nice little graphic, and you can pause to, read this more, but a nice little graphic of what types of conversations can I have with my child at each different age or grade in school that they might be at, right? And this is actually from Teach Kids Money. And I really enjoyed this graphic. So I want to give them a shout out because they did a great job putting this together. But sometimes parents don't know where to start. What should I even be talking to them about? So here's a great guideline on how you can start early, right? This starts as young as baby to preschooler. So start early. Budgeting and spending. And here's the most important thing, guys. You want to model good behavior for your children. It starts with you. It starts with them being able to look at you and say, I want to either emulate that, or I want to learn lessons from that and go a different direction. So it's up to you on the reaction the child may have. Implementing something like this is a little basic budget that I put together here on Canva. There are so many free templates out there today that you can utilize, but just create something. Sit with your child once a month and create a little budget. Talk about money, have the conversation. So now we are going to talk about investing and retirement. We are at level 4 of Big Mama's house, and we are slowly building and growing. So let's talk about retirement for mom, because here's the truth. Mama don't want to work for the rest of her life. I am actually of the belief that women were really not ever supposed to work. A lot of women have been in the situation where I have to work because I'm a provide for my child, right? I'm a provide for my family, and I absolutely understand that. There's also some women who are just love and passionate about what they do. I personally feel like if I was sitting home every single day, I would probably get sick of it after a while. But there's a huge difference between knowing I have to work and knowing I'm working because I want to, right? And I want to make sure that you're in a position that you work when you want to, not because you have to, right? So let's talk about how we can make sure you're in position to retire. 6 out of 10 Americans either don't realize that that they're not on track, or that they don't have enough for retirement, right? The average American has, and it's probably much less than this today, 65,000 saved for retirement. That is a very sure situation for mom to be working until the day she dies. And you shouldn't want that for yourself, right? So another conversation I need to have with us as women and us as mothers, we are very much so, I'm going to do everything I can for my kids and I'm going to worry about me last. No, you need to pour over from a full cup. Everybody has heard the expression, you cannot pour from an empty cup. If your retirement is empty, guess what's going to happen? Later down the line, you are going to be a financial burden on your children because you didn't do what was necessary to put money away for retirement. And there are a lot of women in a situation right now where they are caring for an older generation, their parents, and a younger generation, their children. So, unless you want to set up your children to be in that state later down the line, it is very important that you're putting money away for retirement. Also, 4 out of 10 in the mid 2022, 4 out of 10 US households owned IRAs. Traditional IRAs are the most common, followed by Roth IRAs and employer sponsored IRAs. I'm going to talk a little bit more about Roth IRAs. They are very wonderful, powerful tools, especially for moms, because they have a lot of really cool features that you as a woman, you as a mother can utilize to your advantage. So first, let me talk about this. What is a Roth IRA? IRA stands for Individual Retirement Account. It gives you more control over your investment compared to a 401k at the job. Why is that? Because a 401k at the job, they're doing the selecting for you. You don't have authority or control over what they're investing in, what they do with the money, when they change, who they're investing with. You are at the whims of whoever is the CEO or person who makes decisions on this 401k account. So, with a Roth IRA, you have the control. You get to say, I want to contribute this much this month, or I need to skip a month, or I want to put more in at this time. That is something you could do with a Roth IRA. There's no minimum age to start one. You just have to have earned income. They are funded with after-tax dollars. So what that means is I got paid from my job. The taxes was already taken out. The money drops into my bank account. The Roth IRA then drafts the money from my bank account, and it goes every month on a systematic basis. Distributions are tax-free at 59 and a half years old, which is great. Contributions come out tax-free if you have had it for more than 5 years. So a lot of people don't know about this, but after owning the Roth IRA for 5 years, you can take out what you put in. So what do I mean by that? Maximum to contribute to a Roth IRA for the year is $7,000. Let's say you fully funded the Roth IRA for the first 5 years. 7,000 times 5, 35,000 in the account. However, it's an investment. So the money has grown and accumulated as well over the 5 years that it has been invested. So after those 5 years, you can take out what you put in. You could get your hands on a portion of that 35,000. What you cannot touch is the growth, how much the interest compound and grew the money, right? So for the people who might be in their head saying, well, I don't want to put my money somewhere where I can't touch it till 59 and a half. Guess what? After owning it for 5 years, you can touch the money. Here's another cool feature. If you pass a Roth IRA onto your heirs, their withdrawals will also be income tax free. And last but not least, there are some amazing qualified expense reasons as to why you can take money out of a Roth IRA without incurring the 10% penalty that usually occurs if you take the money out before age 59 and a half. Those qualified expenses are a first-time home purchase. You could use up to $10,000. That is in your Roth IRA. If you have a baby, which, hey, you're women, right? We're talking to women here. So if you have a baby, you can use your Roth IRA as a investment tool. You have to wait until after the baby is born, but then you can withdraw up to 5,000 from your IRA, and it's for each child. So that's amazing. It's just 5,000 total. Also, educational expense and medical expense, right? So for yourself or for your children. So these are all reasons as to how you can get money out of your Roth IRA without incurring the penalty. And the other thing I want to point out here is some people may mistake small beginnings for little to nothing, meaning, oh, what can my $50 really do? What can my $100 really do? Look at this, $100 at age 15, $100 a month at 9%. If somebody started at age 25, would be over $500,000 by the time they were ready to retire. However, most people tell themselves, I don't have enough. I don't have it right now. I can't get started. I got to pay off this first. Let me take care of that first. Oh, but little Bobby needs some new shoes. So let me get him some shoes first. Just by you waiting 1 year, you cost yourself $49,000. Most women again, we often find that women put themselves on the back burner and make sure that their family is taken care of first. But look at how much it is costing you. It pays to start investing early. Even if you put away $1,000, let's say it's for your child, you put away $1,000. By the time your child is age 67, they could have had, if you started it from when they were born, they could have had $406,000 saved up and invested. This is without you having to add another penny. $1,000, set it and forget it, right? So, what ways can you prepare for your retirement to make sure you are not going to be a financial burden on your family later down the line? And how can you also set up your children to make sure they are prepared for retirement? Because that's important as well. So, last but not least, we are finally putting the roof on the house, and we're going to talk about goals and dreams. So, as women, again, it is most often that we put our lives on pause, put ourselves to the back burner, and focus on raising a family, helping our partner, running the household. But it is important for women to always maintain their individuality. And sometimes that's hard. But one way we can really do that is focus on what was the dream that you had since you were a little girl and how we can get a written strategy to make it a reality. So, if you're a mom who wants to start a business, there are so many grants and things that you can get to start that business. If you're a mom who wants to travel, that's a certain dollar amount, right? So, how much is it? How much do we need to be putting away every month so that we can make sure you're traveling the world later down the line if you want? Or for the mom who doesn't want to do anything in retirement, guess what? That still costs money. Okay, because housing costs, medical expenses, a child in crisis, death of a spouse, all of these are most common unplanned expenses, and a reason why we still need to save and invest money for whatever type of mom you plan on being later down the line. Just understand that it's a dollar amount associated with that. So rather than hoping, wishing, praying that that will happen, why don't we sit together, come up with a plan, and make it a reality? Lastly, here's one of mom's most common dream, right? I think most women just want to make sure that when my child is grown and that they're an adult, they are, standing upon the foundation that I have built for them, that they are a better adult than I was, that they level up and continue to excel and elevate our family goals, our family legacy. I think that's most parents' dream, that their child just becomes a good person, that they're successful, that they can do their own thing and be a functioning adult in society. So, how can we make sure that we have the generational wealth to support that? There are a lot of different ways that we can do it. Investing in the stock market, you can do that through a Roth IRA instead of individually investing in stocks, which is a bit more risky, right? So we can talk about a Roth IRA, which spreads out the risk. Invest in real estate, whether that be your primary residence that you pass on or investing in rental properties that you can pass on to your child. Build a business that you can pass down. Emphasis on that you can pass down. We're seeing a lot of generations right now, especially the older generation, um, come with a sense of, I built this myself, so you need to build your own, pulling yourself up by the bootstraps. But I would really love to see more mothers have the philosophy of, let me build something that I can pass on, that is sustaining, that is cash flowing to my children, right? Take advantage of life insurance. I don't know if you know this, moms, but you're not going to live forever. So it's important that you have life insurance, right? Because eventually the day will come and God will call you home. So, yes, your children will probably grieve your loss, but if you can make their grieving a little bit better with a check, I think we should all do that. Invest in your children's education. I have several different investment accounts that you can invest for your child's education, such as a 529 education savings account, as well as a uniform transfer to minor account. It's called UTMUSH for short. So I would love to talk to you more about that. Teach your children about personal finance. We definitely dived into that more on how you can have financial conversations with your children and also model good behavior. Create an estate plan. It does not make sense for you to accumulate a whole bunch of wealth and assets and then you don't have a will or an estate plan to make sure that these things will smoothly pass on to your heirs, because otherwise you'll have to go through a probate process and nobody likes that. It's timely, it's costly. Better to have an estate plan and a will to make sure all the hard work you're doing goes to the children and the family you want it to go to. Set up custodial accounts. That is also related to a, for example, Roth IRA, a TOD account. These are all different types of accounts that, again, do not need to go through probate after passing away. And then lastly, name your beneficiaries. We know that life changes, lives sometimes, right? Sometimes the people we start with in our journey are not the people we end with. So even if I have different accounts with different beneficiaries, make sure it's up to date, right? If you ain't with your baby daddy no more, why is he the beneficiary on the life policy? Or you ain't with that ex who's not even the children's father no more, so we need to take him off the policy, right? Make sure your beneficiaries are up to date. So, guys, every time I do a presentation, I always want to make sure I'm leaving you with actionable steps, actual things that you can check off and do. And you know what? Let me make sure I got the things she's talking about, right? So, here's a nice little checklist that you can go over for yourself. I want to encourage everyone who is watching and listening to this to check this information for yourself. Even if you don't reach out to me, you don't do a consultation with me, please take the time to analyze and make sure all of these things are set up for yourself and for your family. Check your life insurance. Have you had any life changes? Do you know what type of coverage you have? Right? It's not enough for you to say, I think I got it, or I think somebody got it on me. No, you should check. You should be able to look, have that paperwork in hand or on the computer, look for yourself. Start an emergency savings auto draft. If you're starting if you're just getting started, work on getting to 500. Okay. Don't, a lot of people have heard the expression 6 months, 12 months, 3 months of expenses saved up for emergencies, right? But the way cost of living is going today, that's a huge feat. That is not a small beginning, right? So, how about we start small, work on getting to 500, set that as a milestone goal first. Then we can excel from there. Or even if 500 is too big, start with 100, right? Say I'm going to put away $25 a month till I get to 100. Shouldn't take that long. Track your spending for the next month. Look at your statements from all your accounts, see what money is coming in and see where it's going. Not a small thing, but a huge thing if you actually complete it, because you'll come to realize, oh, wait, I got this subscription over here I didn't know. I got this over there I didn't know I was still paying for. Make sure that we are tracking our spending. Start your Roth IRA. If you don't already have one, please start a Roth IRA. If you do already have one, increase your contribution. Maximum you can contribute to a Roth IRA on a monthly basis is $583 a month. Maximum for the year is $7,000. So please start your Roth IRA. Start your dream fund. Okay, if I can speak to all the mamas who got dreams out there, start that dream fund. Because the truth is, the kids are going to grow up and they're going to be out the house someday. We already talked about life expectancy of men. He might not always be there one day. But your dreams, I don't want to see that die with you. So start that dream fund. Even if it's as little as $20 a month that's going into that account, start it. Establish a family finance meeting. Huge, right? Maybe it's with just you and your partner in the beginning, or you and your parents, you and your siblings. But start that family finance meeting and invite your children in on it so they can watch you modeling good financial behavior. Don't be afraid of having that honest conversation. Let them see your mistakes. Here's another thing that's really important about watching and understanding parents' financial mistakes. Because here is typically what some parents might do. They might say, you know what, I'm a conceal. I'm gonna go put it in the closet, or I'm gonna have the financial conversations when the kids are asleep. I don't want them exposed to my mess. I don't want them seeing what I'm going through. But here's what happens. Those kids grow up, and once they are struggling with their finances, or they aren't getting things right, they think it's something wrong with them. They think, oh, this is only me experiencing this. Why? Because they didn't see from a young age people working through financial struggle in an appropriate way. So it's very important for you to be vulnerable. Let your kids see, let them in on this meeting. And last but not least, schedule a consultation with me, the money coach. They are free. I would love to help you with this and more. Let's just go ahead and talk about how you can do that. My consultations are free. I've been in business for 6 years. In September, it will be 7 years. I'm licensed in actually now 11 different states. We can include New York on this list here. I have my Series 6 and 63 license. I host virtual family finance meetings. So if I was talking about that family finance meeting, you're like, oh, I know I really need to do it, but I don't know what to say. Invite me in. I could be a unbiased third party who can come in, give y'all stuff to talk about, play referee if need be, right? Help people who maybe are not on the same page get on the same page. So please reach out to me if you're interested in a family finance meeting. This is my contact information. You can find me on Instagram, LinkedIn, Facebook, as well as TikTok. And lastly, we can ignore this because this is outdated. Lastly, I just want to thank the uh mothers and matriarchs in my family. I feel like I'm about to get emotional a little bit, but it's beautiful to see uh just matriarchy and women who are bold and leaders and doing what they want out of life. And some women in this picture are no longer here with us on the earthly side, but I feel their presence still. And I know that the foundation that they laid is what I stand upon. And I'm excited that when I do have children, they will be able to stand on the strong foundation that I have built for them. So I want to say thank you to my mother, my grandmother, my great grandmother, my great grand aunt, all in this picture. I want to encourage everybody who's watching this, honor your mother. Take time today to say thank you. Thank you, because motherhood is not easy. It is a thing. It is tough, right? I watch my mommy friends do it, and I am always in awe and amazed. I think you guys are absolutely amazing, and I want to be the supportive role to make sure that you will be financially taken care of later in life after you have given so much and sacrificed so much to raise your family. So, thank you for watching. You can scan this QR code to get my booking link and just read more about me, more of my links. But I appreciate you guys, love you guys, and I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, please share, please like, please comment what you got out of it. What was your favorite part? What was the fact that shocked you the most? Share this with a mom that you know and love. Thanks, guys. Have a good one.